welcome back to some Blood Crest Manor content. So today I'm going to be telling you guys and showing you how to make some paper mache paste and paper clay. That is what I use primarily to make props like these. They're fully made from scratch, all the way from the core of it, which is, I use bed sheets on the inside of this. That's the paper mache part, and then on top of that's paper clay. And that's all the detail and the rises and all that. So it's been around for a little while now, since I think I want to say like 1950s, 1960s is where a lot of these like paper mache, paper clay, Halloween props were started, and they're actually kind of valuable to this day and highly collectible. But that's the same process that I go through to make these. So today I'm just going to walk you guys through all the ingredients you'll need for that, the process of mixing it, how long you can store it, and everything like that. So let's get on down to it, and I'll show you all the ingredients. Woo! Alright everyone, so everything you see here in front of me right now is, including this right here, is something that you'll pretty much need to do this. Also a big bowl, which I'll be showing you in the video in a minute with me making it. All of this that you see here, for the most part, is very cheap. The glue, the liquid starch, all-purpose flour, all of these things are easily obtained anywhere that you live. As long as you're living somewhere within reason, like if you're in Alaska, then good luck. But you should be able to find all-purpose flour, and it's pretty cheap. Liquid starch, glue. You'll need a mixer, a little hand mixer. It can be the cheapest thing you can find, it doesn't really matter. I use one of these, a little spatula that you go down the side with. That's because the flour ends up getting stuck to the bowl a little bit. That really helps a lot, which you'll be getting to see all this in a video in just a moment when you're making it. You'll need a measuring cup, preferably one that goes up to 8 cups. This is an 8-cup measuring cup. And you'll need a container to hold it in. And also a key ingredient to the paper clay is paper mache paste itself. So that's why we do this first, and then we'll do the paper clay second. And we'll talk about everything needed for that as well. So everyone has a different recipe with paper mache and paper clay paste. Paper clay and paper mache paste. Everyone does it a little bit different. I've worked on it a few times, changed a few things here and there, tweaked it along the way, and this is the best recipe that I've come to find. Now you may find others out there with different recipes that work really well, and that's great, but this is how I do it personally. What's absolutely necessary is 1 cup of glue, you have 6 cups of flour, and I use 8 cups of water. Now in my recipe I also use a cup of liquid starch. I would say if you're going to do it with my recipe, keep it that way, because the texture of the paper mache paste is really tuned in with this added. Some out there I've noticed say you don't have to add this, but I personally have never tried it without it, and I'm probably just not going to. I'm pretty happy with the results that I have right now, and so I recommend a cup of this. So 1 cup of glue, 1 cup of liquid starch, 6 cups of all-purpose flour, and 8 cups of water. And once you get done, like I said, you'll need to have a receptacle for it. This is from the dollar store. This is $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. Betty Crocker, easy seal container. I believe this is 12 cups. And now with the amount that you'll make with this, it would probably fill this up to the brim, but we're actually going to end up using a good bit of this paper mache paste in the paper clay. But I'll get to that recipe here in just a minute. So for now guys, enjoy the show, and I'll talk to you in just a moment. Woo! guys, so we're going to go ahead and start with the bowl and getting the flour and the water mixed in first. And we're going to go ahead and then add the 1 cup of liquid starch and then the 1 cup of glue. I always recommend going with the liquid starch first because it makes getting the glue out of the cup container much easier. It just comes right out. So then we're going to get these all mixed together in this bowl, which this bowl also came from a yard sale. Got it for like $1. A lot of this is really cheap, you wouldn't believe it. But so then we just use our mixers. We go ahead and get that mixed in really well. Once I see that it's gotten to a good point with the mixing, I take my red spatula and I just run it down along the sides of the bowl, making sure I get all the lumps of flour off the bottom and back into where it can be mixed. You just want to make sure you don't have any lumps. It needs to be very consistent through and through. It should have the consistency of like a kind of like a loose pancake batter. If you've done it right, that's what it should look like. Alright everyone, so the next stage in this is getting the paper clay made. You're going to need 6 cups of paper mache paste, which we just freshly made. You'll need another receptacle, just like the paper mache paste one. They can literally be the same kind, and you'll easily be able to tell the difference between the two. You'll need a cup of drywall joint compound. This is called wallboard. They're the same thing. What you're looking for is joint compound. This stuff is more on the expensive side than like most things that were on the paper clay list of ingredients, but it's still not overly expensive whatsoever. Everything here is relatively cheap. You'll need our red spatula again. You'll need a screw gun and a whisk, and which I need to stress to you all very clearly real quick now that I'm thinking about it. All of these cooking utensils, measuring cups, whisk, Tupperware, anything that you would use in the kitchen that you're using here can never be used for food again.
What's the main course? You should never ask. It spoils the surprise.
Ever. You'll never get the smell or the taste of drywall joint compound and Elmer's school glue out of your stuff. So don't ever try to do that. Just once you decide what you're going to use for making your paper mache and paper clay, it needs to be designated just for that. It does clean very easily. It's not a very messy situation, but it's not something you want to stain your utensils with. So with that being said though, back to the ingredient list. You'll need something to get the drywall joint compound mixed up with and put into the measuring cup, which also, just to clarify, the measuring cup, you can buy all of that at Dollar Tree as well, and this brush too. In the case of this video, I misplaced my spoon and I don't know where it is, so I use this as my mixer instead. It does not matter, as long as you're able to get it mixed up really good. I've noticed that drywall joint compound has like a small amount of like a liquid that builds up on the top after you've used it, opening and closing it. You just mix it in really good, just mix it up, and then put it into the cup, 1 cup exactly. And what you're going to do is you're going to put that cup, 1 cup of that plus the 6 cups of mache paste into a 5-gallon bucket. At least that's how I do it. I'm sure you could use like maybe something easier, maybe a bowl of some sort, but in my case I find that the 5-gallon bucket works really good. I guess I should have it up here with the ingredients. But you'll want to get that mixed up first, and then what we'll do is we'll start mixing in this. This is the primary ingredient to paper clay. You can make, which this is basically paper pulp is what you want. This is a fully recycled paper insulation, so there's no like fiberglass insulation in this or anything like that. It's fully recyclable, and it's just paper. There is some drawbacks to this. This stuff does have bits of plastic in it that you can't have in your paper clay. I'm not saying you have to go through and pick out every little piece, you definitely don't have to. But basically what you'll do is as you're making it, you'll find bits and pieces of plastic. You just want to pull those out as you find them. Some of it's going to get into your designs and pumpkins and whatever you're making with it. Some will get in there, but as long as it's not like a terrible amount or like a really big piece that's like on the top of your sculpting, then it's not really a big deal. But with that being said, if you want to, you can make this very traditional. You can get you some newspaper, you can get you the water vat that you have to do it in, and there's a whole long laundry list process to make paper pulp. The way they used to do it back in the 50s and all that. It ain't for me. This is much easier, much cheaper process than doing it that way. So I highly recommend you do this if you want to be a purist and if you want to make your own paper pulp. I don't know how to do that this time, so I won't be able to tell you how to do that in this video. But with that being said, this is what I use. I highly recommend it, and it works very well. It costs like $12 for this gigantic bundle, bale right here. And all the projects I've made, as you can see, I've only used a very small amount. It's something you really don't need a lot of, but you gotta have it. But alright guys, so that's it for this one. I'm going to now show you guys how I make paper clay, and I'll talk to you during the video. See you in just a minute. Alright guys, so just like I said before, you're going to want to mix your paper mache paste with your drywall joint compound first. You just put your screw gun in there and with the mixer on the end of it, and it mixes up very well. You don't want to add everything in first and then mix it, because basically the paper pulp will just get kind of binded into all that, and it really won't mix well, and just in all it will be kind of scuffed, as I've come to find out. So don't make the same mistake I did. Mix the stuff first. Once you get the paper mache paste and the drywall joint compound mixed, then you'll want to start adding your paper pulp or your paper insulation, whichever you're deciding to use. I'm just going to call it paper pulp for the purpose of the video. So basically you'll just add a couple of handfuls of this paper pulp at a time. And as you'll see here, I actually find some plastic as I go along. Just take that stuff out, move it to the side, throw it away, it has no use for you, and just keep on going with it. So basically though, you want to make sure you don't add too much. You want to do a couple at a time, just a little bit, until it gets to the texture you want it. And the texture we're looking for is if it's not wanting to stick to the edges of the bowl or the bucket in this case anymore. It's wanting to stick to itself. So that's what we're looking for, and once it does that, I'll be showing you guys what it looks like. Alright everyone, so now we've completed our paper mache paste and our paper clay, and they are both ready for use. Now personally, I recommend allowing these to sit in the fridge overnight. It just makes working with them a little bit easier. And in most cases, you'll be needing this first anyway. So you can use it just as you get done with it, or you can let it refrigerate overnight. It doesn't matter. It's just preference at that point. In the case of your paper mache paste, what you'll see is as it sits in the fridge, which please remember also, these two have to stay in the fridge. And I believe they'll last for about a week, maybe a little bit over a week. I kind of just follow my nose with that situation. I've not had any go bad on me yet, and I think the longest I've had it out, or living in the fridge, is about 8 to 9 days. So at that point, you kind of want to start thinking about throwing it out to get you a new batch made. But as you notice, as you'll let these sit in your fridge, you'll notice the paper mache paste, it'll separate the water from the other ingredients on the top. It's just a partial separation. And if you'll notice here, it'll basically come up about maybe like that much difference in water. And basically, anytime that you go to use this, you're just going to want to take it and shake it up real good. Make sure that it's closed down really well. Thankfully, I've not splashed myself with it yet. I'm always pretty good about making sure the lid's down real well. But if you're going to use Dollar Tree Tupperware like I do for this, then I recommend definitely making sure it's down good. Basically, to shake it up, that's it.
Shake, 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 Sinora, shake your body liner.
That's it. You just shake it up a decent amount, make sure. Well, I said that, and there goes a drop down on it. But anyway, that's what you get for using Dollar Tree. No offense, Dollar Tree, I like your stuff. But anyway, so that's all for the paper mache paste. Just want to make sure it's really well mixed, and then you're ready for use. The paper clay, it will have some water condensate on the rim, on the top of it, and around the sides where it ain't at. You might even get a little bit of water buildup sitting on the top of the clay. Basically, all you do is you just flip it on top of itself. And to a testament to you have good paper clay is that when you're flipping it, it's not sticking to you. You should be able to put your hand in the paper clay and take it out, and all you see is like a residue of like the paper mache paste that's in it. You shouldn't have it sticking to you to a large degree. Both of these are made completely out of paper clay and paper mache. The inside of this is sheets. This one is newspaper and coat hanger. I mean, you can really use anything you can really find around the house to do this stuff with. And keep up with some of the content in the videos, and I'll just show you guys exactly how versatile and forgiving this art style is. But alright guys, that's going to be it for this one. If you have any questions or any comments about how I do this, definitely let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear you guys' opinion on it. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Boo!